Lounge here on DreamTV and BTV. Something interesting happened on our forum.
Okay.
I don't know if we are supposed to be talking about it now, but apparently the Victory Uganda app is not for us anymore.
No, it isn't. Let me speak about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we grew into an independent application, an independent application called Doxa.
Okay.
Yeah.
DOXA?
DOXA.
Okay.
DOXA or Doxa has everything that we need. Has BTV, has DreamTV, has Impact FM, and even Doxa itself is there, but it also has the Alpha Digital. Okay.
Next time I'll ask you off screen so that you're not speaking Chinese.
I wish I could, but I think we'll do it. We'll do it Monday. People
Monday.
will be able to see what we've turned into. The intention is to separate the two. The Victory app, because it's Victory from Victory Christian Center, will have sermons, will have church programs, will have all of that. Whereas the Doxa app, which is totally media, will be media.
Okay, so that is where we are at. But www.imc.ug
that one is still existent,
is still there, so you can catch us anywhere at any time. Virunji Stella here with Alex Simbwa, and we go all the way to Kenya. And in Kenya, we are looking at something that I am very passionate about. In the region, when we get to look at countries take major steps when it comes to tourism, it's something for us here in Uganda to borrow. No, take the whole tree.
And
because yes, because we truly need
uproot it and bring it
to steer up our tourism industry. So Kenya will soon allow citizens from nearly all African countries to visit without prior travel authorization, according to a directive that was announced earlier this week. And the policy shift aims to enhance regional integration and boost tourism by eliminating contentious electronic travel authorization for most visitors, that is the ETA. Now, Kenya introduced the ETA last year to replace visa requirements, but critics labeled it as visa under another name. The country's position on the Africa Visa Openness Index subsequently dropped 17 places to 46th out of 54 nations. Kenya is not the only one. Ghana and Rwanda have made similar moves to simplify travel for continental visitors. And for me, I have seen a great shift, especially when it comes to Rwanda. Now, let me give you a picture. The Rwanda gorilla permit stands at $1,500 for non-resident visitors, so the white man, ideally. But they have this thing called the South African residents, so SAR rate. Now the SAR rate, guess what, is at $500 per person. So that means that South Africans visiting Kenya, rather Rwanda, will get the gorilla permit at a far less cost. Do you know what that means? That means that because with South Africa, they actually have the purchasing power. We have had very many travelers from South Africa come to Rwanda or even Uganda for travel. So when you look at countries make these major, now imagine the cost of the gorilla permit is cheaper, and then also they have no visa requirements entering into Rwanda. That means that the destination is already cheap as it may. When you look at Kenya, Kenya offers safaris, it majorly offers safaris and the immigration between them and Tanzania. So them having this and saying, you know what, with Africa, no, we can look the other way. And also other costs including. So they have an airline, right? So imagine they have an airline going into these places as well. That means that more costs are down and then travel can be good. So it is a good thing when you look at it from the whole point of
what about the rest of the Africa, or do we target simply either the whites from Europe and America and everywhere, and only South Africans because of the purchasing power? Can't we put together these small $100, $200, and so on, and get some figures?
You know what? I will read, especially with Rwanda. I'm going to read what it says about the rest of Africa, other than, because for them they have a rate for East Africa, the East African community.
How much is that?
200, I think.
$200 is fair for Ugandan, for example.
No, those are gorilla permits.
Yes.
You're talking about gorilla permits.
That's fine.
But when it goes
when you
down
compare
to
200 to 1,500,
that
I
is
don't
a
see
good one.
any, and mark my word, any Uganda spending $1,500 on a gorilla permit.
Yeah, but they will
They are wealthy
spend
Ugandans.
it on
They are
a
wealthy
hotel.
Ugandans on a hotel, yes.
Yeah, they spend it on a hotel, but gorilla shaking, no.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because we have our own.
Yeah.
And here in Uganda, it must be at about, could be within 350.
Okay, is there price discrimination as
Ugandan
well?
shilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mainly it's for East African residents and then
Non-East African
non-residents. Non-residents pay $800 omuzungu, and then others 200. Yeah.
Okay, 200
But here
is
we
fair
don't
enough.
have South African rates. No.
Oh, okay.
That one it's for the rest. You're a non-resident.
Okay.
Yeah.
And beautiful.
So I believe this could be a good thing for Kenya as a whole.
Okay, we run to the Sahel states in West Africa, and this time they are coming together to create a unified army. They say the challenges they face as nations, and the Sahel states we are talking about those that exited the ECOWAS, or Economic Community of West African States, and formed their own. Now they are coming together and say they have common challenges. Among the common challenges are the what they call terrorists, okay? And in their communication, they say the unified force will not only have its own personnel, but also aerial, ground, and intelligence means, as well as coordination systems. The countries we're talking about are Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. And it's their Minister of Defense, that is the Minister of Defense for Niger, who says this. The three nations are former French colonies where the military deposed civilian administrators and decided to have military rule between 2020 and 2023. Taken together, the three countries are spread over an area of 2.8 square kilometers, that is about 1.1 million square miles, roughly 4 times the size of France, in Africa's northwest. They lie in a region called the Sahel, which stretches between the dry Sahara Desert in the north and more humid savannas in the south. Now, each of them has been racked by attacks by jihadists allied with the Al-Qaeda or Islamic State for a decade. And that is the claim they have, that the reason they want to come together is because, first of all, they're in the same place. They face the same type of threats, and especially the threat of criminal groups, which include the jihadists, otherwise those that are connected to Al-Qaeda and also connected to the Islamic State. So that is in West Africa. Perhaps they have points and so on, because the three of them also expelled French armies from their countries. They said, there's no need for you to be here, because it seems you're here only to collect our wealth.
Whenever I get to see an Africa like this, I truly wonder, and I'm concerned, shall we ever see a free Africa, Alex?
Free?
Yeah, like one without such issues. I know that some of our issues are within us, leaving alone the riches or the minerals that different countries may have. I feel like mostly right now we are seeing more and more of the greed that, like you talked about last week, the greed within the African leaders that causes us to be in such disputes all the time.
Prayer. There's a solution.
I want to talk about this
Prayer,
story so that you come last
the
with
best way
Trump.
is to go prayer. Why? Because it's difficult at times. It's difficult. Why a leader in Africa cannot think about their population before they think about anything else. Now, severally, we've had issues where foreigners claim they are fearful for what would happen to a certain country in Africa, yet they've been robbing it. A case in point is Niger. Niger is rich with uranium. Now, the French and the Americans and so on were so keen on taking the uranium, and when the government was deposed, they began claiming we are not so sure about what is next, because the truth is the environment is not conducive for them to rob any longer. Yeah, so very, very unfortunate.
So, of course, they have to paint it like that.
Like that. But the issue for me is a prayer issue, to be honest with you.
As if Africa doesn't pray enough, Alex. Come on.
We do
pray.
You
know how many?
But perhaps we pray amiss.
All right, probably. I wanted to talk about
because you don't pray, and when you pray,
that's right.
You pray amiss.
I like how my mom says it in Uganda. Yeah, but there's how she says it. I always like it. I think that is one of her favorite verses. I've had my mom say that verse since I was young, and I like it a lot because of that. Anywho, I wanted to mention this story a little bit before you come in with Trump, because clearly. A French divorcee wins an appeal in a case over refusing husband sex. Now, why I wanted this story is it's quite interesting that she wasn't opposing the divorce itself. She was okay with it. It is the grounds of divorce that she was concerned with, because apparently she had stopped having sex with her husband, and there was a ruling from the Europe's highest human rights court, which had stated she should not have been blamed for their divorce. Now, all this happened in 2002 when she stopped, when she started having physical. So they have a kid, right? They have a kid in 1992. She's begun experiencing health problems. Now, in 2002, her husband started physically and verbally abusing her. And then 2 years later, she stopped completely having sex with him and petitioned for divorce in 2012, right? So the woman did not dispute the divorce, which has also been requested, but objected on the grounds on which it was granted in 2019.
Okay, so there is a divorce situation.
Yes.
And the grounds for the divorce, according to the man, is denial of conjugal rights and so on.
Right.
And the woman says, no,
Let's talk
I
about
can give you a divorce if you want, but not on the grounds
of that.
Because let me speak. This is a very sensitive time to speak about this, but let me speak about it. We are human before we become married or what and so on. You get it?
Yeah.
So if somebody is unwell, health-wise, then it nullifies any qualifications or rights you have to conjugal.
Right.
You get it? We think about somebody's. It's human. It's the human thing to do. Buntu bulamu okulowooza ku muntu nga tonneerowooza kunoganda naye ono muntu bw'abanga mulwadde. You get the point? So that is my argument. Secondly, I think the court, she wins because of a flaw in the law. Because apparently, I don't think that
previously she had been losing. She first appealed in all these other courts, and she had continuously been losing all the way until now. Yeah.
Okay. Now, divorce is not Christian language.
Yes, it isn't.
It isn't. Now, according to because the only grounds for divorce according to scripture is infidelity.
Yeah.
Now,
Ate kurobuka kanyavuro mutima go. So that means that
there's room for reconciliation.
Yes,
and
even when.
And so on.
But the decision.
Kajanti mateeka ganaga secular. Eyo nsonga nkulu. Boba jiranga nsonga nkulu.
But what you wanted to say, that the decision found that France had violated her right to respect for private and family life under European human rights law, ending a legal dispute which has dragged on for almost a decade. So she has been trying to fight this, and honestly, them siding with the man initially, that would be something that we call rape culture. There is actually rape in marriages, people. It is a serious thing.
I withhold my words. Our time is up, and I will leave this Donald Trump story.
But Donald Trump, for me, has shown that when the U.S. is electing, our voices matter as well. We are not there, but everything that he's trying to put across affects the rest of the world. So we don't get to see America go to elections and they say,
ignore it.
Yeah, those are their issues. We are actually concerned because when you look at some of the moves that he's making and the things he's signing in, for example, you know that USAID, is it? That money that comes in from grants and things like that, he has stopped the offices for 90 days. So people who have projects and have been waiting on money to come through for grants and things like that have to hold off at least for 90 days.
Yeah, and the trickle-down effect is such that there is a lot of employment or employees that are going to be affected and so on. And so for that, time is up. We shan't go beyond that. A lunch fellowship today between 1 and 2:15 p.m. and also begin thinking love in the Agape Love Mass. Good day.